right, hello everybody. My name is Dr. Mary Goforth. I am one of the pelvic health specialists, one of the physical therapists at Cornerstone Physical Therapy. I work at our Woodfin location in North Asheville. And today I'm going to be talking briefly about the fourth trimester, or basically after having baby, and what exercises to avoid. So whether you had a vaginal delivery or a C-section, there has been trauma to some of those deep internal muscles. So two biggies that I tell my ladies to avoid. One are sit-ups or anything where you're like really curling your trunk. You know, it might be deadlifts if you did CrossFit or weightlifting before, but anything like that where you're flexing the trunk a lot, try to avoid that. Even crunches, especially if it's only been, 6 weeks since delivery. And the reason for that, you may be familiar with the term diastasis recti, which means separation of the rectus abdominis muscles. Not all women have it as bad as others, but those muscles do have to stretch during being pregnant. So if you're doing the action that those muscles do, which is a lot of that flexion, and they're still separated, you're putting yourself at risk for making that separation worse, for developing a hernia, or even developing or causing worse urinary incontinence. So that's one biggie. Try to avoid sit-ups or even crunches early on, and more than that, of course, as well. If you did CrossFit before, you don't want to jump on the bar and do kipping or toes to bar and things like that. Give yourself a little bit more time to let that come back together and do some specific exercises coached preferably by a pelvic PT, because it's great to have that separation checked and monitor that getting better before knowing that it's time to be able to go back to those things. So the other big thing, I would just say I like to be a little conservative the first month or two with my ladies after they've had babies, and I tell them to avoid really pounding forceful exercises. So that may mean, if they were a runner before, avoid that. Jump rope, and a lot of times they're kind of already avoiding these things on their own in general, especially if they've noticed that they've tried to kind of go back because their doctors cleared them, and then they're noticing that they pee on themselves when they run, or something just doesn't quite feel right, or it's kind of uncomfortable. So those are the two biggies. Avoid a lot of flexion, especially with force, and avoid a lot of pounding. Those are my two recommendations. So thank you guys, and we'll see you next time.